Now, what you're seeing in the pictures are the results of a drunk driver nearly hitting me head on, but sideswiping the trailer. And you can see that the damage to the trailer is, fortunately for me, not real serious. But what happened was really serious, and his vehicle is pretty much totaled. And so what happened was, as I was traveling eastbound on a 2-lane road with a speed limit of 55, and I was doing close to that, and as I'm scooting along, I see a vehicle, a Toyota Tacoma. He's kind of moving around a little bit in his lane. This is probably 300-400 yards out, and as he gets closer, he's drifting off onto the shoulder of the road. And I'm starting to slow down at this point because we're getting close to like 100 yards away from another, and I'm sure he was probably doing at least 50 miles an hour. I'm doing 50, 55. So we're closing in on each other in theory of 100 mile an hour, closing in on 100 yards. And like I said, he starts drifting over to the passenger lane, and then all of a sudden, here he comes. He goes to correct himself, and he's headed right towards me. And this happened so quick, I shot over to my shoulder as quick as I can, as I was already actually moving that way, because I could see that this guy was, something was up, and he was going to need room for whatever was going on with him. And as I moved over as fast as I could, I'm watching him coming at me at an angle, which is so weird. You know, as when you're passing people on a 2-lane highway, it's, you know, you're both following a parallel line. He's coming at an angle across in a short distance. And he just narrowly missed the truck and hit the back of the beaver tail. I watched it happen in my mirror, and I saw pieces fly everywhere. And I continued on just a little bit further until I found a safe spot to pull over. I pulled over, I jumped out, I checked the severity of my damage. I realized that I had, no hit. There was no hit to the tires and wheels on the trailer. I was okay there, so I jumped back in, and I flipped a U-turn right in the middle of the road and put it to the wood and tried to go after the guy. Because I saw him, he kept on going. And funny enough, I guess, on one hand, is it wasn't real hard to follow him because pieces of his truck were coming off as he was going along. Pieces of rubber, the inner fender was a dead giveaway, that laying in the middle of the road. And he's got pieces of rubber coming off, and finally, there goes the tread of the tire. It's laying in the road, and then it was really easy to track him, or I should say, didn't get any more difficult, because now he's running on a rim, and he's running down the road, making a gouge in the road. And so I'm following him, I'm tracking him, and I called 911 right away, and I'm following the tracks, and she's telling me, where are you at? And we've already got a witness that saw the wreck take place, and he's a reported drunk driver. And I made a turn. I could see where he had made a turn. I'm following him, and I had a sheriff's department vehicle come up behind me. He went flying around me, and I was like, yeah, I'm following this guy. Let's go get this guy. But the operator said, you need to pull over. The CHP wants to get a report from you. They've got units coming from all directions. They're going to catch this guy. So I pulled over. CHP showed up, California Highway Patrol, did a report and everything, documented the damage, got a case number, all that stuff. And they did catch the guy, totally hammered. Guy was totally hammered. And the driver's side front of his pickup was totally demolished. I was very lucky on my end. I did not sustain very much damage to my trailer, especially with the amount of impact that I felt. I thought it was going to be way worse, but I do not have a bent beaver tail. Nothing's tweaked other than the light mount that broke off and the ramp mount that's shown in the pictures. But I didn't get any footage of that because I had no intentions of trying to make a video out of this or anything. But now after I've kind of had some thoughts. You know, we get distracted driving and stuff, and with our phones or this or that or whatever. And I just want to say, people that are watching this video, you know, guys that are watching this are probably guys like me, farmers and OTR guys, Dodge guys, pulling goosenecks, doing your thing, RVs, whatever. And you know, it's important to not get distracted, because if I was distracted when this guy was coming up on me, I mean, I moved like 4 or 5 feet over from the yellow line. I moved way over. If I wouldn't have been paying attention, it would have been a total on, head-on collision disaster. And I just want to say to everybody, man, don't drive distracted. Keep your eyes on the road, and because it may save your life. And at least in my case, it on my end resulted in not much damage. You know, he's got himself a felony DUI, a felony hit and run, and I will be going after his insurance company, obviously, for my damages. But that's all I wanted to say, is everybody just be careful out there. So enough with the despair, and let's move on to the repair. I couldn't hardly stand it. Just driving home with it all tore up back there and looking like I had hit something or whatever, and take pride in, you know, not smashing stuff up. So anyway, as soon as I got home, I started cutting stuff off, and we'll move on over to that. So because I built this trailer a long time ago, and some of the stuff I had reused, and actually specifically when I built that steel, or had that steel building over there built, left over from that project was this heavy gauge sheet metal right here that had a nice break to it, and it fit perfectly. It was perfect what I needed to be able to. Took my hole saw, punched the holes, and put my oval lights in. And so when this all got tore up back here, I remembered, hey, wait a minute, that's what I made that out of. And I still had some, like, oh, I don't know, 8 years later, I still had some of that material. And here's the old piece. I tried at first to heat it up, see if I could pound it in place. And it was, after 10 minutes, I realized I had wasted 10 minutes. It was time to move on. And I'm no body guy, and forget that. So, and it was amazing though how hard he hit, where you can see in the first pictures, this ramp mount completely blew this completely off. This was dangling, just hanging on by this rod, and it messed up. So anyway, right away I got at it, got it fixed. I already had the lights in stock. I had to steal them for my Northstar SD project, but I'll grab a couple more of them when I have a chance. And so also too, since I had to kind of get in there and fix a little bit of the wiring, I thought, you know what, I've had these suckers here laying in the shop for quite some time. Why don't we go ahead and try to use them? So I installed myself some purple lights. I got one right underneath beaver tail. And I went ahead and put one right here up in the neck, tied into my wiring, because I install lights up here on the neck. I think they look pretty cool. I don't know why no one else does that. And I went ahead and threw one into my bed on my second gen. And now I guess I just wait for it to get dark. It's like being a kid on Halloween.